I mean, the fact that like when Israel said like Hamas has a base, a military base under the hospital. Do you have any proof? Here's a CGI video. What? That's what we have, and you have to believe it. But if you don't believe it, you're anti-Semitic. Ooh, you're anti-Semite.
Do you get accused of that?
Of course.
Of anti-Semitism?
Oh, yeah. I'm an anti-Semitic, yeah. It's funny because in Egypt I was accused of being a secret Jew and a Mossad agent, and now I come to America to be accused of being anti-Semitic.
And how do you deal with that? What do you say? You laugh?
Like this, ooh,
yeah.
I'm so afraid now. It doesn't mean anything. This accusation of anti-Semitic, it's an empty accusation. It doesn't mean anything now.
But it's one of the worst accusations somebody can make, isn't it?
Why is it?
You know, being accused of being a racist or an anti-Semite.
You understand that I'm a Semite myself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. You understand this?
Of course, in that respect.
And you understand the fact that you say anybody is anti-Semite doesn't mean anything. Because they call other Jewish people anti-Semites, right? Our self-hating Jews, sorry. They changed the narrative.
Yeah.
Oh, you're self-hating Jews, you're anti-Semite. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So do you think the power of that accusation is ebbing away?
Yeah. People don't care anymore. People are making fun of this accusation because basically Israel is saying we'll do whatever we want, and because we are Semites, and if you speak about anything October 7th, and you're anti-Semite. It's just, you see, the narrative, it's become so tired and so exhausting and just devoid of anything, of meaning.
I could make a very easy argument that I'm sure you would accept, that your home country, Egypt, their border wall with Rafah and Palestine does not speak to brotherhood. You want them out. You don't want more to get in. You don't want more in Egypt. You have not treated the ones that are there as well.
Let's talk about like something that's.
So I don't know about the Arab Brotherhood.
Let's talk about the secondary effect of the killing. I told you this example before. This is like you going in, killing someone in Fifth Avenue, and you're angry at the neighbors for not burying the corpse. I don't understand. Like, why doesn't Egypt tell them like why don't you stop the killing? That is the question. Okay, I hear the thing. Explain to me, like a 5 years old who hasn't lost his limbs in Gaza yet, explain to me how...
Don't make me laugh at something happened like that in Gaza.
No, I'll tell you. I will give you a 5 years old analogy.
Please.
Palestine is like a fishbowl. A fishbowl. It's a lot of fish. It's condensed. There's like so much fish in so little area. And Israel is like the person over that bowl and just like crashing the bowl, killing the bowl, taking the fish anytime. Because we talk about hostages, but we never talk about Palestinian hostages. There are like before October 7th, 5,000 Palestinian hostages in the prison of Israel. Now there's 12,000. Every single day, Israel can go in any house, take the house, burn the land, burn the olive oil, take the people, put them in. Isn't that hostage? That is a hostage situation that's been going on for years. But so Israel can do anything with this fishbowl. At a certain point, Israel is just hovering over that fishbowl. And then at one moment, a fish crazy enough, suicidal enough, will jump from the bowl through the air, bite the pinky of Israel. And Israel like, oh my God, that bit my pinky, my hand was not even in the bowl. And then they go in and they destroy the bowl. And all you can see is Israel pinky. You know what I call this? Tunnel vision.
Israeli leaders have been asked in the past, Bassem, why are you allying with these nut jobs who basically, their vision of supporting Israel is basically, we want everyone gathered there so that Jesus come back and everyone dies. And they say, we'll take whatever allies we can get, right? That's the cynical move on the Israeli far right, is to ally with actual anti-Semites.
Also, speaking about using religion in politics, I remember you had a very interesting interview with Naftali Bennett, which, by the way, I quoted that interview in another part when everybody's like, well, does Israel has the right to exist? And then I told him, like, Naftali Bennett was Al Jazeera a couple of years ago, and he was asked about the Palestinians' right to exist, like, well, not everybody gets a country.
Yeah.
Like the people in the Bas, people in Kurds don't have a country.
How
so Palestinian, but when it comes to Israel, of course.
Because he cites religious reasons.
Ben Gvir, he's the Minister of National Security of Israel. The guy said, like, spitting on Christians is not a hate crime, it's part of my faith. That is a minister. So I'm not picking on because you can pick on extreme people on the internet, from the Muslim side, from the Christian side, from the Jewish side, but I'm talking about people who are in position of power.
Yeah, no,
I'm not just like picking random people from the thing, because, and also all of these people that you might think it's fringe or controversial, it is not. There is a movie that I highly recommend. It's a documentary. It's a two-part. It's on YouTube. It's called Praying for Armageddon. I really urge everybody, especially Americans, to watch it, because they're talking about how the ideology of the Armageddon and the second coming of Jesus has been a huge part of American politics. I mean, you see the reporter asking people from the Congress, like Laura Boebert, which is like a right winger. She's like, she's from Colorado, and she said he asked her about the rapture and the second coming. She's like, I believe that there are two nations in this planet and this world that were created to honor the glory of God. They are the United States of America and Israel. I'm gonna work for both. I'm gonna be loyal for both. And then you have asking other people, it's like, don't you think that this is the whole thing about second coming of Jesus and rapture is extreme? He says, no, I don't think it is extreme. When Jesus comes, I'll be here waiting for him. So, and here's the problem. You have American politicians supporting Israel for that religious promise of apocalypse. And they believe that they did that, it's going to be like a 7 years of tribulation, it's going to be the end of war. And when that happens, the second, Jesus will come. And on the other side, there's the Jews believe the same thing. But the outcome is different, because the Christians believe that all Jews will either be killed or converted. And the Jews believe that the one who's coming is not the second coming of Jesus, he's going to be the real Jesus, the real Messiah. And everybody will be enslaved by the Jews.
One of the biggest differences, Mahdi, is this whole thing about anti-Semitic thing. You're anti-Semitic. It doesn't faze people anymore. It doesn't scare people anymore. It's actually became one of the most laughable accusations. Anti-Semitic. You know, when you use...
When Chuck Schumer is accused of being anti-Semitic, the most senior Jewish member of the United States government, hardcore supporter of Israel, when you use that on Chuck Schumer, it loses all value. And, you know, can I just add something here? I actually am not happy about anti-Semitism losing value, because anti-Semitism is horrible. It's a real problem in our society. It's actually on the rise in the United States of America, where we live. And the problem is, if you throw it willy-nilly everywhere, if you throw it at every Israel, then when the real anti-Semites are marching, Jews will not replace us. When they're marching in the street, when they're attacking synagogues, unfortunately, it won't have the same value, because it's been used on Chuck Schumer. It's being used on Palestinians.
You know what happened in the colleges? Like I watched you. Like you said, he said they were the college students were funded by Hamas and Muslim Brotherhood.
Yes.
Wow. How do you know what does that mean to me? Because like in Egypt, it makes sense that America can infiltrate Egypt and it like fund people inside. But when you tell me like Hamas is funding people inside America, this is like the Amish hacking NASA. It's like the Wi-Fi in the Hamas tunnels really work that well. How does this work here?
So I'm just trying to get to sort of, you know, the cynicism that you have about people's ability to change the world.
My cynicism?
You see, on the one hand, you talk about, you know, people are right to sort of complain and people are right to want better.
I mean, they could complain.
But on the other hand,
when
you'll sort of say, well, nothing
do you
really
think they're going to
changes
make it? Yes, they can complain. But like, listen, there's two different things. They have the right to complain. Your question is, will that change the world?
Yeah.
And I say, I don't think so. But at the same time, I cannot tell them not to complain. It's not really mutually exclusive, right? It's like you can have both. Look at me, for example. I go and I complain about what Israel does. Does that change anything? No. Do I keep doing it? Yes. Why? Because I have nothing else to do.
What do you think should happen now on that?
Where?
On the Israel question, do you think things are changing? Do you think international opinion is changing at all? Well, do you think international opinion is changing at all? You know, there's a sense.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's the second question. But yeah,
it doesn't matter. That's it exactly. Does it change? Maybe. Does it matter? No. Because like, what people don't like Israel now? Do they care? Well, have they slowed down the killing? No. Have they stopped killing people? No. Have they stopped violating every single international law article? No. Does it matter? No. Will it change anything? No. They don't understand but one language, which is power and force. And there's no pressure or power from the United States, which is their own sponsor. And sometimes I wonder who leads the other. So it's not going to happen.
And so if you were for a moment an optimistic person and could change the world in any way, how would you change it?
I don't know, man. It's a very rhetorical question. I don't know. The thing is, the whole big talk about changing the world doesn't do anything if you don't address the power. Who has the power? Who has the power to shape the narrative? Who has the power
to force people to do certain things or stop people from doing certain things. And the people in power don't really respond or care about any of our suggestions to change the world, because at a certain point, if our ways to change the world will affect their special interests, they will stop you.
Is that what you're going to tell your kids?
No. I will wait until they're 21, then tell them. I'm not going to ruin their childhood. I'm going to ruin them when they were young people.
When they're old enough for it to
when
really
they're older,
hurt.
when
Yes.
they're old enough to have their lives ruined. What do you think, I am a monster? No.
Bassem Youssef, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
At the time of the making of this video, according to Al Jazeera English, so far, more than 42,000 Palestinians, including more than 16,000 children, have been killed in this war. According to The Lancet, it is not implausible to estimate that the actual death toll might even be up to 186,000 or even more. This has got to stop. It's time for an arms embargo against Israel and a ceasefire now.